If you want to have a good project, then you need to have good requirements. This is why requirements gathering is the first in almost any method of your process module. Usually, you'll find it either in the communication and/or the planning stage, and it will set the tone for the rest of your project. Now, having good requirements does not guarantee that you will have a good project, but having bad requirements will guarantee that you have a bad project. Your project requirements will be born out of the project inception. Your project inception is just a fancy way for saying, where does a project come from? And there is no one place that a project comes from. A new or improved product can come from lots of places. I've seen, for example, a salesperson selling something that they didn't actually make, and now the development team had to come up with it. Management's going to get this great idea for something that they can sell. Maybe your marketing department will see something that a competitor is doing and think, oh, we've got to do that, or we could do it better, or maybe we just have to do it too. Internal projects might come from an internal manager thinking about some sort of need that they need solved. And in some cases, the development team will even come up with an idea and try to get it to go. Many times we come up with a digital version of something we already have and do. I've personally helped create online training during the early days of COVID. These were at places that used to solely do seminar types of training, but they had to have it digitized and made it available because people weren't going out and traveling. I've digitized order processing systems in the early days of e-commerce, back when it was still new and most people weren't doing it. I've taken a variety of HR type forms and made them digital to reduce errors and improve efficiency. On and on and on these examples could go. Each of these was modifying something that already existed in a similar or maybe completely different format, and now it's digital, online, and much better. We can elicit a response from customers, realizing that a customer may be an external person or organization which buys one of our products, or it may be an internal person to your organization, someone who just maybe works for a different department. We want to ask them what problems they have and what they would like to see a solution to. This may cause a variety of issues such as in scope or feasibility, so clear communication is extremely important if you want to successfully get this information and come up with a good solution. This is even more important when working with an external customer because you may not have multiple times to communicate. So be as clean and clear as you can. One time, as a client myself, I met with a development team for a product that we used. They were sending people go around asking their customers what new features would they like to see added to the next version of their product. As they collected all the information, they asked us to then rate those feature requests we had. The way they did so was by giving us $100. Then we took that money and decided which features we wanted to pay for and how much. This was a great way to help rate what product features we really wanted versus the ones that were just nice to have. Those nice to haves didn't get the virtual funding. And the company used this collectively, looking at all their different customers to figure out where they should allocate the resources to. You see, at inception, you should work to establish a basic understanding of the problem, who needs the problem solved, and the nature of how the problem will be solved. During this phase, you may need to negotiate with that client or customer to get a reasonable project requirement. For example, maybe agreeing to something simpler so that they can get in a time frame that they're asking for. And that's exactly what that company's process was doing for them. It was helping them figure out where do they really need to spend the time. And it made it in a very simple, negotiated way. You should be always working towards developing a specification. Now, while there isn't a set definition, your organization should use the same methods throughout their development team. This way, everyone is on the same page and people can move between development teams if they need to. It should generally include some sort of natural language description and quite possibly include a graphical model or a UI mockup in order to reduce the chances of a misinterpretation.